Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and it is coronavirus tech news for Thursday, March 19th, 2020, where we only talk about tech news as it relates to the coronavirus because, quite frankly, we're all in lockdown at the moment. Now, with that, our first bit of news comes from The Verge, and Tesla was told to shut down their California factory to help fight the coronavirus on March 17th. Tesla is not exempt from the San Francisco Bay Area's new coronavirus shelter-in-place order and was basically ordered to suspend normal operations at its Fremont, California factory for 3 weeks. This is according to county officials. This comes after, though, that Tesla had kept its factory open and running on that day, the first day this order was in place. This was about 2 days ago or so. Now they have been shut down. The Alameda County Sheriff stepped in and closed the factory. Now, Tesla is able to maintain minimum basic operations, and this would include things like basically someone coming in to do payroll, security guards to protect the plant and its inventory, stuff like this. But the day-to-day operations are up in the air. Elon Musk has also said that he would also retool the Tesla plant to make critical medical supplies if needed. We'll see if that happens. Moving on, this is also coming from The Verge. Israel, this is coming out of the country of Israel, they are now using cell phone data to track the coronavirus. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu, the leader of Israel, authorized the Shin Bet, this is Israel's internal security agency, to use cell phone location data to help combat the coronavirus, and this is according to a New York Times report. Now, this data will be used to retrace the movements of individuals who test positive for the virus and identify others who should be quarantined. The agency has permission to use the data, which the Shin Bet has collected from Israeli carriers since at least 2002, interestingly enough, for the next 30 days. By directing individuals who may have come into contact with the virus to quarantine themselves immediately via text message, the government could greatly speed up the isolation process for those that have been confirmed infected. The agency has not made public precisely what data it collects, but experts told the New York Times that the Israeli government can use it to track almost anyone's location in real time. This is not unlike pretty much any other government on the planet. And I actually talked about this yesterday as it relates to the United States government, who has a strong desire to start doing this as well. And so here we are balancing that freedom versus privacy versus protecting ourselves through what is becoming a pandemic. Moving on. This news is coming from Cyberscoop. A surveillance campaign against Libyans uses a fake Johns Hopkins COVID-19 tracking map. And I have actually did a video on this as people are spinning up fake maps that are infecting or stealing information from others. Now, mobile security firm Lookout has traced a malicious Android app to what it says is a long-running campaign to spy on people in Libya. Now, this spyware masquerades as a popular map, which is the Johns Hopkins COVID-19 and all of that. The software behind this is called SpyMax, and it allows the operator to exfiltrate call and text logs and remotely activate microphones and cameras. To quote Kristen Del Rosso, who is Lookout Security's research engineer, in terms of other mobile malware that has been seen taking advantage of COVID-19 fears, this is the most invasive I've seen. Now, apparently this is a broader spying campaign that's been going on for nearly a year, and its evolution into this basically shows that hackers around the world, and criminal hackers rather, are exploiting the COVID-19 virus for their own personal gain. So please beware of downloading anything app-wise or going to websites that aren't officially and fully registered. Check out those URLs, and I would not be installing or opening up documents that have been sent to you from supposedly legitimate sources like the World Health Organization, the CDC, and on and on and on. Please make sure you are double-checking yourself as you are looking for this information. And finally, and this news comes from Entertainment Weekly, of all places, Netflix has been asked to basically slow down its streaming so the internet doesn't break. Now, this is coming out of Europe, but this could be a sign of things to come here in the United States as well. The European Union has asked Netflix basically to pump the brakes on its download speeds in order to reduce network bandwidth now that we literally have millions of more people staying home, which means Netflix is going to be seeing a spike. European Commissioner Thierry Breton tweeted Wednesday night that he spoke with Netflix CEO Reed Hastings about lowering the service's streaming standards. It's part of an effort to encourage people and companies to switch back to standard definition instead of high definition or 4K, which obviously consumes a great amount of bandwidth because, quite frankly, we don't necessarily need to be watching things in high definition to still watch them through Netflix, and the bandwidth savings, or what we would free up, would be absolutely huge. Now, the request raises a possibility of streaming content reverting basically to CD or DVD quality, basically during this crisis. Now, I find this absolutely interesting because this could be a sign of things to come. In the United States, Netflix accounts for something like 1/4 to 1/3 of all bandwidth. And now that people are home and during the day and not watching Netflix, basically the bandwidth tapping is going to be turned up very hard. Not to mention Hulu and Amazon and Disney Plus and on and on and on and on. They are consuming a massive amount of bandwidth, which is basically going to be taxing infrastructure. And so we may see this throttling down here in the United States. And I think this is the overall point of that. I think we're going to get a real lesson in sacrifice in pretty much every aspect of our life here. Everything from possible shortages of essential supplies to little minor things like having to go back to standard definition or DVD quality, when we are streaming, as opposed to the 4K high def, whatever that is. And I think, quite frankly, it comes, at a horrible time, with this whole coronavirus thing. Nobody wants to see anybody needlessly die over an infection. But I think it's going to be a very interesting lesson, especially for a generation that is being raised to be ensconced in technology. They are surrounded by the wireless infrastructures of the world and believe it's theirs to use without fear of consequence, whether it's cybersecurity or taxation of resources. And so I think it's going to be a very, very interesting and I think hard lesson for a lot of people. I obviously grew up in an era way before all of this came out, so I'll be all right. Not to mention I've got a lot of stuff behind me I can watch if need be. So there you go. That is your coronavirus news of the week. I hope you guys are staying healthy out there. And there you go. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.